So we'll switch to English. Fabio, are you there?
I am here.
Yes, perfect. So you'll take us straight to New York City, straight to one of the highest buildings in the city, right?
Yes, thank you so much, Christian. And thank you all for joining us today. And we're really, really thrilled to be here. I am Fabio. I am with SUMMIT One Vanderbilt. We are a relatively new attraction in New York City. The way that we like to describe it is that we are a new attraction set in an observation deck world. And the reasons why will be pretty plain in a little bit. So let me start off over here. So as we discussed, we like to consider ourselves more than just a view. The slide that you see in front of you shows what the attraction looks like. We are the top 3 floors, the 91st, 92nd, and 93rd stories of what is now the 4th tallest skyscraper in Manhattan, which is called One Vanderbilt. We opened in late October 2021, so we're still relatively new. We just turned 2 years old, about 2 months ago. So as you can see, top 3 floors of the 4th tallest skyscraper in Manhattan. In terms of where we're located, this is something that I always love to point out because our location is pretty paramount to your visitors. We are located in the heart of Midtown East, right next to Grand Central Terminal. We are actually technically part of the Grand Central family. The reason being because $220 million of our construction budget actually went to expanding Grand Central underground. So as a result, we are somewhat partnered with Grand Central, and our lobby is actually located right off the main concourse, which is, of course, the most famous space in Grand Central. But it's very, very conveniently located in Midtown East, very, very close to a lot of other points of interest, like Bryant Park, the New York Public Library. We're about a 7-minute walk away from Times Square, about a 10-ish minute walk away from the Museum of Modern Art. So very, very conveniently located.
Yeah, so you're right there where everyone wants to go anyways. So
that's right, exactly. And the great thing about our location, in addition to the fact that we are right next to Grand Central, is that most of your visitors are actually going to Grand Central, of course, because not only is it one of the most iconic buildings in New York City, but the most important thing is that it's free, and everyone loves free. So great photo spots and everything like that. So very, very easy for them to just continue on to our lobby, which is again located and connected right through Grand Central, right off the main concourse. So moving on, in terms of what we have to show, what you see in front of you is our first room. So SUMMIT One Vanderbilt consists of 3 floors, 6 different rooms of fully artistic, immersive experiences. Starting with our first room, which is called Transcendence. This is the first room that you will exit into on the 91st floor. I know that it sometimes takes a little while for your eyes to adjust to what's actually going on in the photo over here, but essentially what it is that most of our spaces are made of mirrors. So what you see in front of you is a south-facing room. So you see all of southern Manhattan in front of you. You can see the Empire State Building peeking out on the top right. But everything else that is not a clear window is made of mirrors. So this is what it looks like. And it is this boundless, endless reflectivity all around you, which really showcases New York in a different way that you've never really been seen before. So definitely kind of breaking barriers and reinventing what the concept of what an observation deck experience can really be. So moving on, we have our next room, which is called Reflect. It is kind of brought to us by the world famous Japanese installation artist called Yayoi Kusama. Kusama is a world-renowned installation artist. She is 94 years old, world renowned. She just had a sold out exhibition last year at the Tate Modern, which sold very, very well. And we have one of her unique pieces with us, which is called Clouds. As you can tell, there is endless reflectivity, very much based on the previous room, Transcendence. As you can kind of tell, it is liquid metal looking, and it is 45 different pieces, 2 separate locations in terms of where they are. In the background, you can see a full-scale model of One Vanderbilt as well, which faces the north, which is a really beautiful view of Central Park as well. Moving on to Affinity. Affinity is by far our most popular room. It is another mirrored room that is covered in balloons, in these reflective balloons. Now, what you see in front of you, they are actual balloons, so they're not just suspended or anything like that. You can grab them, you can play with them, you can throw them, you can kick them, all sorts of things. So this room specifically is designed to really bring out your inner child, which we have seen time and time again. Here's some other pictures, as you can imagine, right? Here's some other pictures, and I love this room specifically just because the play between the mirrored balls and the mirrored floors and walls and ceilings really create this illusion that there's not just a few hundred balloons in there, but millions, as you can see from the image on the far right, that it just keeps replicating and replicating and replicating. So really unique kind of thing for people to see. So moving on, we have Levitation, which is our sky balconies. Ilona touched on a sky deck a little while ago during her presentation, and it's very similar. It's our sky decks, which are 2 glass balconies that protrude from the building itself, so you can actually look right through the glass all the way down to Madison Avenue, which is a really thrilling thing. It took me a little while to get comfortable on there. It took me a few tries, but it's really fun as well.
How many wedding proposals do you get per month up there?
That's a great question. Actually, that's not a location where we allow people to propose. Only because there tends to be a very long queue, because of course it is a very famous, a very well-known photo spot. So that, but we do have a very robust. I'm actually grateful that you brought this up, Christian, because we have a very robust proposal program, and we have done over 300 proposals since we've opened.
Wow.
And those have just been the ones that we've managed, because we do have a proposal program. So people reach out to us. We have a great proposal package that comes with photographer. It's a 1-hour photo shoot, private access for one choice, and things like that. So if that's of interest, nice. I'll definitely follow up with more information of that as well. But yes, this is a very popular photo spot, as you can see here. Very safe. I promise we did not lose these people when they landed or anything like that. Everyone's still happy and alive. So moving on to our last room on the 92nd floor, which is called Unity. This one is very unique because, again, it's another large mirrored room. The difference is that the back wall of this one is made of one of the largest Samsung LED screens in North America. It's a high definition screen where we play a digital cloudscape video. So imagine you being in the cockpit of an airplane as it's flying through clouds. That's kind of what the image looks like. It is a rolling image, but the really cool and unique thing is that we invite all of our guests to take a very unique picture once they first get into our lobby with what we call our 3D face capture machines. So they step up to the machines, they just stand still for 3 seconds. There is a machine that takes a full 3D rendering of their face, and then what happens is when they walk into the room, they can actually see their face in the clouds, which is really unique. As you can kind of see in this picture, the lady walking by, like right next to her hand is her face.
That's awesome.
Yes, very cool, very unique. We definitely invested a lot of money in the technology of the place as well. This room, of course, you can imagine is very popular with kids because they love to see their face in the clouds. They don't even understand how we do it and everything like that, which is really fun. So moving on, this is our last floor. This is the 93rd floor. This is where we have our bar lounge area that we call a Prey, which is right in front of you as well. It's a beautiful cafe, more laid back. It's not a restaurant, so we don't take reservations. It's not formal. There's no table service. It's more of like you order at the, it's a little bit more of a grab and go, a much more upscale grab and go. We have a full bar, full coffee bar, light bites as well. The interior design was done by a company from Norway called Snøhetta. So you can kind of tell that it's a very open design, lots of clean lines, lots of white, lots of wood, really, really inviting atmosphere, which is really, really nice. It's a perfect place because the first two floors are the more experiential floors with the mirrors and the digital cloudscapes and the mirrored balls and the glass balconies and stuff. So the 93rd floor was kind of designed for you to kind of go have a drink, calm down from all the overwhelming, senses and stuff that have been challenging you before. In addition to that, up there on the 93rd floor, we also have our Summit Terrace, which is a semi-wraparound terrace that faces the south and the west. As you can see here, it's a really, really beautiful place to lounge. All of our windows are extremely tall, so they're about 12 feet tall. So it basically, when you take a picture from there, it doesn't look like there's any barriers in front of you. It just looks like you've got the Empire State right in front of you without anything blocking you, which is really great. Of course, as you can imagine, it's a really, really beautiful place in the spring and in the summer. At night, it turns into kind of like a rooftop terrace bar. We play lounge music outside. So everybody kind of goes, has a good time, has a few drinks. They can stay as long as they want, which is really, really lovely. And then we have Ascent. Ascent, I will say, just as an FYI, Ascent is currently undergoing some maintenance, so it's not running at the moment. But I did want to preview that with you guys. So Ascent consists of the two largest glass exterior elevators in the world that were specifically built for Summit. In this photo, you can see one kind of coming up here. And the way that it's designed is that it climbs the side of the building from the 93rd floor and it boosts you up to the equivalent of the 110th floor for the most incredible, unparalleled views of New York City. This is what a shot looks like from inside the elevator. And as you can see, because it is fully constructed of clear glass, it really gives you this illusion that you're kind of floating above Manhattan at such a high rate. It does climb the building up very, very slow. We don't drop you from the top or anything like that. It's not, Tower of Terror or anything like that. It's not a thrill ride. It is designed to kind of go up slowly. It dwells there for a few minutes for photo opportunities and everything like that. And then it comes down. This is when Ascent is back, which we're expected sometime in 2024. This will be an additional add-on that is optional for the person, so for the guests, excuse me. So everything that you guys have seen up until Ascent is included in our general admission ticket. So that grants you access to all 3 floors, all 6 different rooms of artistic experiences. Ascent is the only optional add-on to your experience if your guest is interested.
How many people would you have in the elevator at one time?
Yes, so our full capacity in each elevator is about 12, but we usually put an average of 8 to 10 in there, just more for comfortability and so that everyone has a chance to be up at the windows because of course, everybody wants to be as close to the windows as possible.
Oh, but
so
even 12 doesn't sound too bad because they were spacious. So
yes.
no, I think that's a great approach, not to pack these things too full. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's actually a good thing to point out, Christian, is that the elevators are more rectangular as opposed to square. So they're much more wide, which is a different kind of elevator, obviously, because most elevators are more, square shaped. This one is rectangularly shaped. So it's much more wide, which allows people to kind of spread out in the front there. But yes, the max capacity is about 12 people, but we usually keep it a little less.
Perfect. Just because there's a question coming up,
Please.
Just to make sure, it's going to be back sometime in 2024, back in operation, right?
Yes. The latest that we've heard is summer of 2024. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, of course. Summit After Dark. I'm excited to present this to you guys because Summit After Dark is a completely different experience than the daytime. As you can imagine, in the daytime, it's beautiful and bright and reflective. And if it's a really clear day, you know, it gets very, very bright in there. There's nothing you can't see and everything. The opposite side of that is Summit After Dark, which comes alive in a way that you would never expect, because behind every single mirror panel, we have hundreds of LED lights that when the sun goes down and the city is all lit up, there's a gorgeous and immersive light and sound show that happens. Actually, we're going to play the video just so that that you guys have the visuals, and then I'll talk over it a little bit. Perfect. So what you're seeing is Summit at night. This is what it looks like. And as I mentioned, there's a spectacular light and sound show that happens throughout all of the attraction. Now, as you can see, this is the same first mirrored room that we started with that was really big and bright and everything like that. And as you can see, all the different colors and everything that comes out. And it affects the entire attraction. It doesn't just happen in Transcendence in that first room. What you see in front of you is Affinity with all the balloons. So all the balloons turn different colors. And again, it is cued to sound as well. So it's a really beautifully immersive kind of experience at night. It's magical in a way that you will never see before. So I really, that's my favorite time to be at Summit, which is really, really amazing.
Yeah, it's a totally different attraction, right? It's something completely different. It's amazing.
Totally different. Yes, very, very different. Which really promotes kind of double visitation, or, you know, if you come to New York for the first time, maybe you go to Summit during the day, and then maybe the next time you come at night. But it is a totally different experience and vibe and energy than during the daytime, for sure.
Do you offer any combination tickets? So coming during the day, during the night?
Don't. Yes, we don't yet. I know that this is something that we're looking into because there's certainly interest in kind of the double visitation. So I can definitely keep you posted on that. But at the moment, it's just you know, during the day and during the nighttime as well.
Is it the same entrance fee though?
Yes, so it's the same entrance fee. We are a timed attraction as well. As you guys know, most attractions adopted the timed entry structure during the pandemic, of course, because of capacities and health and everything like that. So I think that that's something that's never really going away. So the way that it works with us is you select the date and you select the time. Our entries are every 30 minutes. So you select the date and then the time, and then you're good to go. One thing to point out is that we do have sunset hours as well, which is our peak hours. So that is not something that we currently offer to the travel trade. That's something that may change in the future, but at the moment, it's the very, very high peak, incredibly in demand time. So other than sunset, you have full access to all of the other hours outside of those 2.5 hours, which equate sunset.
All right.
Cool. All right. Moving forward, another thing I do want to point out is our VIP experience, which is called the 1401 experience. This is very, very unique in that it is a set price for up to 6 people. And it comes with a lot of different wonderful inclusions, which includes fast pass access, which means that you will skip every single line that we have, which is very much in demand just because we do tend to sell out quite frequently. You also get a dedicated guest experience ambassador that will be with your group for 90 minutes. So they're able to escort you, they're able to give you, they are either able to be a tour guide or, we really modify the experience according to the guest needs. So some folks really want to know everything about the history, the background, and everything like that, whether it's New York or Summit. Some folks are just there to skip the line, which is totally fine. So we really kind of we really kind of work with the guests to give them the experience that they're looking for, because of course we want to be able to service that accordingly. And I can definitely follow up with a few more details with that as well if you guys have interest with that, but that's something that I did want to point out. Another thing I did want to point out is we have two incredible restaurants that are on location as well. The first one is Joji, which is located in our lobby. It is a traditional omakase sushi experience. It's very, very high-end, very delicious. What you see in terms of the seats and the tables in front of you is the entire restaurant. So very, very small. We do require a reservation and everything, but really, really unique experience for folks that really are looking for something unique for sure. And then we have Le Pavillon, which is our French seafood restaurant that's located on the second floor of One Vanderbilt. This is a restaurant by world-renowned chef, Chef Daniel Boulud, who opened this restaurant a little bit before Summit opened. And we're very, very proud to say that about 2 months ago, last year we won our first Michelin star, and about 2 months ago we won our second Michelin star for this restaurant. So it's
Nice.
very much in demand. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous restaurant. Again, these two restaurants are very, very high end, 5 stars, everything like that. So definitely more for folks that are looking to do something very special, or a special occasion, or anniversary, birthdays, things like that. But it is something that we have on offer for you folks as well. And that kind of concludes it. I do just want to just mention a few more things, and that is the fact that we do have a tendency to sell out. I promise this is not just a selling point. We have a sellout rate of about 94%. So we do very, 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 very much encourage our partners to pre-book, because we have been faced with this a lot, that visitors come, they think they can get tickets on the day, and we're sold out completely in the next time slot. They get there at 9 a.m. and our first time slot that we can sell is 10:30 at night. So it is something that we very much encourage for you guys to pre-book on behalf of your guests, because again, last minute or when you're in market, it will not be possible. So just something that I very much urge on that.
All right, got it. Yeah. Should we play the second video before we take care of all the questions?
Oh my gosh, I
that came in?
completely forgot about the second video because it wasn't in the presentation. Yes, thank you, Christian, for mentioning that. So Christian's about to play the second video. The second video is basically a kind of fly through of the space. So it will show you all the different rooms in motion, just so that it kind of brings everything together and you guys can see what Summit actually looks like in action as opposed to static images. So with that, let's roll that, Christian.
All right.
Thank you.
I think it's spectacular. It's really bringing observation decks to the very next level. It's amazing. Oh, are you there, Fabio?
Yes, I'm so sorry. I hit the camera and I did not hit the audio.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely something that we that was kind of in our purview. What we really wanted to do was really redefine what an observation deck experience is. Obviously, this is the fifth one to open in New York City, so we definitely have a few really good choices. So we really wanted to reinvent what the actual concept could possibly be, and we're very, very happy with the results. We were voted the most Instagrammable location on the planet by Elle magazine. We've been featured in Vogue. We've been featured in TV shows. If anyone watches either Project Runway or the Apple show Morning Show with Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston, we were just on the 3rd episode where Reese Witherspoon actually comes to visit Summit, and there's a scene that takes place as well. So, we're still very, very new, which is why we really want to depend on you guys to really, familiarize yourself with it and kind of spread the word, because, we're still trying to get the word out there, but we're very proud of what we've been able to accomplish so far.
Perfect. Could you please just turn off your camera and turn it on again? For me, it seems like it was frozen. So.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, now you're there again. Okay, so I don't know if it was for everyone, but now it's good. Thanks.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. So before we're taking care of all the questions, just taking a look at the next webinar. So this was or is the last webinar for this year. But in January, in February, we got the next 4 webinars ready for you guys. So on January 17th, we're going to have Holland America Line and Sixt. So taking care of a little bit of transportation. We're going to Texas, to San Antonio and Grapevine. We'll have a Florida combination with Orlando and Punta Gorda, Inglewood Beach. And then again, it's going to be Texas and Oregon with Travel Texas, Travel Portland. So these are the next webinars. You're going to get all of this in my follow-up email. And now it's time to take care of all the open questions. Fabio, I think the first one we got was if there are any wedding locations as well at Summit One.
That is a great question. At the moment, we are not doing any kind of weddings. We get, as you can imagine, we do get a lot of inquiries about weddings, but it's a door we're not quite ready to open yet, just because of the demand. And if you say yes to one person, it creates this whole thing. We do get a lot of general event inquiries, of course, because the spaces are really unique and it's above Manhattan and it's really, really beautiful. But our CEO is very insistent on keeping it as a public attraction. His legacy with this building that has been over 20 years in the making, and this attraction, is that he wants to make sure that it's accessible for everyone. So he's not really apt to privatize for companies or events or weddings or anything like that, because his philosophy is that he wants everyone to be able to experience it whenever we're open. So not quite doing weddings quite yet.
Yep. All right, got it. So we talked about express and fast passes. Could you say a word about the regular ticket price and maybe what the additional, was it the 1-for-1 experience, the fast pass, how much the costs are?
Sure. So our starting entry price is around $43. That's the retail price. We do observe off peak and peak plus and things like that, which is pretty natural. During the week it's one price, on the weekends, Friday to Sunday, it's another price, and then of course we do have select holidays and blackout dates and things like that. So I can definitely follow up with the full pricing, but generally speaking, it starts at around $43. The 1401 experience is $1,000, and that includes up to 6 guests also. So if you have a family of 4, if you have a family of 3, if it's just a couple, regardless, it's one set price for up to 6 people. Excuse me. That being said, that is the only current Fast Pass access that we grant with any product. So the Fast Pass or Skip the Line is not something that's, you can add on to your regular ticket or anything like that. It's exclusive to that VIP experience.
Perfect. Got it. Oh yeah, one of our participants has been to Summit One at night just last Saturday, and she was overwhelmed as well. So she was really happy with her visit. So
that's great.
That's
Love
great
that.
to hear. Another great question: is there a time limit to stay at Summit One? So do you have like a 2-hour slot where you need to, after which you need to leave, or is it just open?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So there is no time limit in terms of how long you can stay at Summit. The only important time is the entry time. So you book the entry time, and that's the time we're expecting you to arrive and go up and everything. That being said, Summit is what we call a one-way experience, meaning once you go through the lobby and a few different touch points, you get to an elevator that goes up to the 91st floor. It goes from the basement to the 91st floor in 43 seconds. So it goes so fast you barely feel it at all. You feel it more in your ears than you feel, around you and everything. You exit out into the 91st floor. So all of our guests get off at the 91st floor. And then there's 3 different rooms in there that they explore. Then they take an escalator up to the 92nd floor, 3 more rooms to explore, another escalator up to 93, which is where Après is, the bar lounge area. So it is what we call a one-way experience, basically meaning you cannot re-access floors that you have left. So basically you can go upwards, but you can't come back down. Yep. So while you can stay as long as you would like at Summit, we always do tell our guests, make sure you're completely done with one floor before you move on to the next one, because again, you won't be able to backtrack.
Yeah, got it. And then, the 1401 experience is, well, very interesting for our participants. So how, well, you'll include it in your follow-up as well.
Yes,
but in
absolutely.
general, just how can they book it? Can the traveler book it? Does
Yes.
check you directly, or?
Yes, at the moment, we're just doing it in-house. So while we're servicing the travel trade, we're not quite selling it through, other providers or OTAs or anything like that quite yet. So at the moment, it's just on request. So if anyone's interested in it, they would just reach out to myself with the date, time, all of the information, and then we would just, start the process from there. Okay. Something important to point out is that we do require a 72-hour notice. That's the minimum. So if it's anything less than 72 hours, we can't always guarantee it. So it is, essential that it's pre-booked, with some time to spare, only because we do have the guest experience ambassador that we need to staff with the group as well. So just something to keep in mind.
All right, perfect. So these were all the questions that came in. So I think we answered all of them. I'm just double checking. Yes. So, well, thank you very much to both of you. Obviously, I just realized Ilona came back on, so she's there again. So thanks to both of you. Thanks to Nicola as well, of course. Great presentations, great images, great impressions. I'm really impressed by Summit One because this is really something very brand new that we haven't seen in a webinar yet in Germany. So thanks, Fabio. Thanks, Ilona, for all the great information on Route 66 and all the other great places in Illinois. And thanks, Nicola, for the Brand USA update.